Good day, greeting students. I'm very happy to meet you all again in grade 12 economics. We are in IED, Indian Economic Development, chapter 2, Indian economy between the years 1950 and 1990. So in chapter 1, we have discussed various things about the position of India's economy during the colonial rule. So இந்தியா colonial ரூலுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு எக்கனாமிக் பொசிஷனில் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா we were self reliant, we were able to fend for ourselves, we were a real wealthy country and we were doing very well in handicrafts industry. So எப்படி இருந்துச்சு before colonial rule? So when you take the before colonial rule, what happened? The country's economic position was good. We were wealthy, we were really doing good, self-reliant. Then we were exporting handicrafts. So handicraft industry பொறுத்தளவு India was at the peak. So என்ன countryக்கு handicraft, handloom products வேணும், handmade products வேணும் அப்படின்னாலும் for any country it was exported from India. Okay, we were not economically dependent on others. That is what is self-reliant இல்லையா? That is we were economically independent. How were we? We were economically independent. During colonial rule or towards the end of it, how were we? The handicrafts industry fell. Handicrafts industry fell. அங்க வந்து வேற எந்த ஆப்ஷனுமே இல்லை. ஹேண்டிகிராஃப்ட் இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்கு இருந்த பிளேஸுக்கு இன்னொரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியை நம்மளால் கொண்டு வரவே முடியலை. Then we were becoming the exporters of raw materials. We were becoming the exporter of raw materials. நம்மளோட கண்ட்ரியில் industries illa, we had a lack of industries and because of that we were forced to become exporters of raw materials to British. So other than British, we saw that we were exporting to Persia, China and Sri Lanka. And then what were we? We were the consumers of their products. நம்மக்கிட்ட industry இல்லை, நம்மளோட raw materials export பண்ணிட்டோம். So when the people of India wanted something, அவங்களுக்கு தேவை இருக்கிறப்போ there was no other option than for look for the foreign goods. Foreign goods வாங்குறத தவிர்த்து நமக்கு வேற ஆப்ஷனே கொடுக்கலாங்க. Okay, so what were we? We were exporters of raw materials. British என்ன பண்ணாங்க? They took the materials from our country to their country. அங்கே இருக்கிற இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ், அங்கே இருக்கிற எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் அவங்களோட கண்ட்ரியோட எக்கனாமிக் க்ரோத்துக்கு ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ தே டிட் நத்திங் டுவர்ட்ஸ் த எக்கனாமிக் க்ரோத் ஆஃப் ஆர் கண்ட்ரி அண்ட் தே டிட் எவ்ரி திங் ஃபார் த எக்கனாமிக் க்ரோத் ஆஃப் their country. Okay, that was the change there. And then of course அந்த ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை வாங்குறப்ப நம்மளோட இன்கம், அந்த நேஷ்னல் இன்கம் எங்கே போகும்? It goes to their country. It becomes their national income and not our national income anymore. நம்மளோட GDP-கோ நம்மளோட national income-கோ அங்கே வேலை இல்லை, because it's foreign goods and we lost our employment opportunities. நமக்கு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியே இல்லைங்கிறப்போ நமக்கு அங்கே எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் சுத்தமாக நம்ம கண்ட்ரிக்கு ரொம்ப குறைஞ்சி போயிடுச்சு. And the agricultural sector was also suffering. although 75% of population was with the agricultural sector, we had to suffer a lot. Namakku nariya problems irundichu because we had systems like the zamindari system, rent settlement. These people were there. So now evloda ஒரு farmer ஒரு agriculturist அந்த landல work பண்ணாலும் அவரால் அதை தாண்டி ஒரு ப்ராஃபிட் மார்ஜினோ இல்லாட்டினா அவங்களோட லைவ்லிஹுட் தாண்டி they could not earn any incentive to be invested in agriculture again. They need some incentive to invest it, isn't it? But they were doing only subsistence farming. What was subsistence farming? They were having this farming and everything. adula vara produce edhukku mattu pattuchina for their own families. They did not produce for a profit factor. They did not produce for anything to be sold. எதையுமே விற்கிறதுக்காக அவங்க ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணல. They produced only for they themselves. So that is not useful for us. That's really not going to help our GDP or our national income, right? That is the agricultural sector's problem. Then we saw the industrial sector, how it fell. So automatically the introduction of railways was like two ways. One side it was good for our people, like transportation was made easy. It was a new invention that was brought to India. It showed that we are developing, fine, but still what was the biggest negative impact there? Now just think, what was the negative impact? People, I mean foreigners, they can get the raw materials even from remote places and take it to their country. அதுக்காக தான் அவங்க ரயில்வேஸ் கொண்டு வந்தாங்க, for their own benefit, for their transportation. அங்கே roads நல்லா லே பண்ணது கூட for transporting their vehicles. அவங்களோட vehicles போகிறதுக்குன்னு they wanted a sort of road. All right, so that's how some development points came to our country. That's how railways were introduced. So oru side vande it is good that a new development has come to our country, but on the other side the wealth of our country was being transported through the railways and seaports that was constructed and created by the colonial rule. So all through we were in a very critical position. Our economy was really in a very critical position when the British were ruling us and when they left us. So avanga nammala vittu porappo when they gave our independence, and as they are leaving, they did not leave our country's economic position in a good range. Okay, we had to struggle. So after that, after the independence, that is after this 1950 constitution was formed and lots of changes came, where we had the idea of 5-year plan. So 5-year plans ala mukkiyama enna pananga, the first plan concentrated on the primary sector, the second plan concentrated on the industrial sector. Yeah, appadina the first thing is the agriculture sector is really suffering a lot. So அதுக்காக என்ன பண்ணாங்க, they brought land reforms, they brought land sealing and made the tillers as the owners. யார் அங்கே சஃபர் பண்ணுறாங்களோ, யார் அதை உண்மையாக ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாங்களோ அவங்கள ஓனர்ஸ் ஆக்குறாங்க. So that they did not have to do only subsistence farming, they did agriculture for a marketable surplus. அதை நம்ம என்னென்னு சொல்கிறோம், marketable surplus ன்னு சொல்கிறோம். That is something that can be sold for an incentive and that can be put back into the business, that is into the agriculture again. Okay, and ஒரு incentive factor இருந்துச்சு. So what were the reforms that came in agriculture? Reforms like land sealing, Then introduction of HYV seeds were there. So that was the Green Revolution. All these played an important role. Then we had industry and trade. We started discussing about industry and trade. What did we discuss? What are we discussing right now, children? Industry and trade. So நம்ம industrial sector திருப்பி கொண்டு வரணும், because we saw that a developing country will get its GDP highly contributed from the service sector rather than the agricultural sector. அதாவது ஒரு country develop ஆகுது அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு என்ன proof அப்படின்னா, the agriculture sector's contribution towards the GDP will come down and the contribution from industrial sector will go up, or the service sector will go up. So now it's important to bring the industrial and trade sector to the top. So அதில் எப்படி இருந்துச்சு, the main role was played by the government, public sector, and the private sectors played a complementary role. What did they do? The complementary role was played by the private sector. All the important industries were in the hands of public sector. Important departmental undertakings, infrastructure, laying roads, all these important industries were in the hands of public sector, and private sector was there. They were just supporting. Okay, what did our industrial policy resolution say? The IPR of which year? 1956. What did it say? According to the industrial policy resolution 1956, industries were classified into three broad categories. Three types of industries irundhuchunu solrom. First type is entirely owned by public sector. Second type of industry is owned by public sector and supported by private sector. Third type of industries were entirely owned and managed by private sector. So one side only public, second set it is about what? Public with private, third category was only private. So இப்படி இருந்த categories, but still do you think private sectors were let to do their own work? அவங்களோட இஷ்டத்துக்கு மேனேஜ் பண்ணிட்டாங்களா அவங்களோட இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸை? No, they were not able to, or they were not allowed to do that. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss in this particular session. And I hope you remember the 4 common goals of all the 5-year plans. We know that we had 12 5-year plans. How many 5-year plans, children? We had 12 5-year plans. So on the 12 5-year plans, what were the common goals? 4 common goals: growth, modernization, self-reliance, and equity. So self-reliance நம்ம எதை சொல்றோம்? That is, as our country's government is independent, countryயோட decisions இப்போ Indians தான் எடுக்கிறாங்க. Right? Similarly, we wanted economical independency. அதுதான் வந்து நம்ம self reliance ன்னு மீன் பண்றோம். So that is very very important. For that we should not import much from other countries ங்கிறதான் first point. Okay, we should go for import substitution. So we had a trade policy to talk about import substitution. All right, so industrial policy IPR 1956 oda continuation. So industrial policy resolution 1956 led way towards import substitution. So import substitution means the point is what? Becoming self-reliant. We should not go for imports. So just how we stop the food imports, green revolution, land ceiling, in the madri agricultural reforms kondu vandu we stop the import of food from US. Like that, the next step is the import substitution. So what is it? The first 7 5-year plans, they looked at this. Which plans ma? First 7 5-year plans till 1990. Chariya? First 7 5-year plans, we're concentrating on that. Adavadu, we should not be relying on other countries for basic things. Imports are full control pannu. Yen imports control pannu? Because when we are importing, the money would go to their national income, not our national income. So domestic economy promote pannanuna, control imports. To promote domestic economy, what we have to do? To promote domestic economy, we have to control imports, and that is called as import substitution. So you can the aim is to substitute domestic products for the products that are imported. So ipo nama pannittu irukom illaya, you don't go for other countries applications, phone applications, use the applications that are made in India. So ipo ellathiliyume oru tagline irukku that it is made in India. For what? We don't want to rely on other countries. Actually it is repeating the trend, the history is repeating. எப்படி ஒரு டைமில் நம்ம வந்து we wanted to control imports and substitute domestic products for that, the same thing is happening. Okay, substitute domestic goods for imports. Imports க்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன யூஸ் பண்றோம்? Domestic goods. So just like how we have these applications, we have some applications which are from another country, and there is another application that is made in India that is similar. Adhe application madri made in India nu oru tagline oda we have Indian applications. Why are we doing it? We want to be self-reliant, point number 1, and that income should come to our country. Evlo per and application download pandrom, anthana applications ku undana income enga podu? Going to the other countries, and there might be a possibility of using your information in a wrong way. Adu ellame prevent pandradhukaga da in the system. Likewise, at that time they didn't want the income to go to other countries. So income வந்து நம்ம countryல இருக்கணும்ங்கிறதுக்காக what was suggested that domestic goods can be substituted for our imports. So import பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா இப்போ ஒரு for example, if you are going to import cloth, some sort of special fabric, instead of importing that fabric was what to say, adhe composition vechu, adhe ingredients vechu they try to duplicate that product in our country. Duplicate in the sense like that product, adhe product inge nammaloda own methodology la pandradhukku try pannum. All right, so because of this it will create what? It will increase the national income of our country, and increase the employment opportunities. It will increase the employment opportunities. Alright children, so this is what we have discussed. And now how do you protect this? So imports வேண்டான்னு சொல்லியாச்சு, but still there should be a proper line or a channel to prevent it. Okay, we say that import பண்ணக்கூடாது means there should be some substitution. There should be some severe rules and regulations to control it. அதை எப்படி நம்ம control கொண்டு வருவோம் அப்படின்னா, we had some preventive measures. Two important preventive measures. One was tariffs and quotas. So இப்போ நம்ம import பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா இந்த ரெண்டு விஷயத்தையும் you should follow. Okay, what is that? Tariffs and quotas. Now what are tariffs? Tariffs are those tax on imports. So இப்போ நம்ம ஒரு product import பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா you need to pay the duty for it, the customs duty for it. ஏன்னா நீங்க அங்க இருந்து products எடுத்துட்டு வரீங்கன்னா you need to pay a specific tax for that import. So when this tax is high, people will not be encouraged to do import. So what is the idea behind it? To discourage imports. For example, a bag. Okay, we'll take for example a mobile phone that cost 10,000. So cost of the mobile is rupees 10,000. அதுக்காக நீங்க பே பண்ண வேண்டிய டியூட்டி எவ்வளோன்னு பார்த்தா that comes somewhere around 2,000. அதுவே Indian product, same Indian product, when you get for 11,000, then you will go for Indian product, isn't it? So this part is there, no extra 2,000. This was implied on goods that were imported. So நீங்க import பண்ணனும் அப்படினா you need to pay a tax. You see duty paid shops இல்லையா, நம்ம நார்மலா வாங்குற ஒரு சாக்லேட் இப்போ நீங்க duty paid shop போய் வாங்குறீங்க அப்படினா it's expensive. Why? Because you need to pay the duty along with it. அதுக்காக நீங்க pay பண்ண வேண்டிய tax amount-ம் ஜாஸ்தி. Okay, that is why it's called duty paid shop. That is, they have already paid the customs duty ன்னு அர்த்தம். அதுதான் duty paid shop ன்னு நம்ம சொல்றோம். Okay, clear children? What next? The second thing is quotas. So tariffs na நம்ம என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம், it is a tax on imports, that is to discourage imports. Okay, because it will make the products expensive. இப்போ chocolate நம்ம வாங்குவோமா, instead of that we will buy some chocolates that are from our country. The cost will be really minimal. Okay, so that point was there. And then we had quotas. One preventive measure was tariff, another preventive measure is quotas. What were these quotas? There was a limit on imports. நீங்க எவ்வளோ import பண்ணலாங்கிறதுல ஒரு லிமிட் இருக்கு. Okay, so there is a limit on imports. So this will restrict imports. So what is the idea behind it? To restrict imports. Now world is inside your hands. நமக்கு வந்து you can buy anything from anywhere using internet, isn't it? Using the great internet that has given world in our hands. உலகத்து நம்ம கையில் கொடுத்தது இன்டர்நெட். ஸோ யூஸிங் திஸ் இன்டர்நெட் யூ கேன் பை எனிதிங் ஃப்ரம் எனிவேர். ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் I wanted to order some shoes from another country's company. Okay, it was a US company. I really liked that shoe, so I wanted to order it. So there were two negative points. Na ye order pannalena, there were two negative points. The shoe's original rate was 200 rupees. Okay, and the tariff, first preventive measure nam enna sonnom, tariff sonnom. So tax itself came for 50 rupees. Okay, and one more thing is that this quota, there was a column of maximum you can order only 3, I think. So ஒரு quota fix பண்ணுறோம், ஒரு limit fix பண்ணுறோம் importsக்கு. Now when I buy the shoe, it is naturally what? Import. நான் ஒரு US கம்பெனியிலேருந்து நான் இங்கே வாங்குறது, it's called importing. Okay, when I am importing, I have one preventive measure, tariff. இது வந்து என்னோட tax, நான் பே பண்ண வேண்டிய customs duty. Second thing, there is a limit, இது என்னோட quota 3. சரி, இது நான் என்னோட பர்சனல் யூஸ்க்கு வாங்க போகிறேன், ஸோ 1 is enough. ஸோ எனக்கு இது ப்ராப்ளம் கிடையாது. பட் இமேஜின் when a company or when a retailer wants to buy those kind of shoes, ஏன்னா அது foreign shoes, it won't be available here, those are some special kind of shoes. ஸோ அப்படிங்கிறப்போ they would want to buy in large number and sell it here at a higher cost. அதுதானே business. So you buy it at a less price and you sell it. So அவரால் 3க்கு மேலே வாங்க முடியாது. That is preventing imports. That has a limit on imports. Do you understand, children? What is it? You have two preventive measures. One is called tariff, another one is called quota. Tariff is an tax that is implied on your imports. It is like customs duty, excise duty and all those. And then quotas, it limits. Okay, there is a limit on imports. How much you can import is there? No, there is a limit for that. Okay, children, those are the preventive measures. சரி, இது எப்படி என்ன prevent பண்ணும்? Here even I am paying taxes. நான் இங்கேயும் தானே GST pay பண்ணுறேன். But this customs duty is really kept higher than that of the normal duties that we pay for our country product. நம்ம domestic productக்கு pay பண்ணுற taxை விட import பண்ணுற productsக்கு நம்ம pay பண்ணுற tax ஜாஸ்தியாக தான் government fix பண்ணுவாங்க. To what? To discourage us from imports. All right, children. So this is done for what? What is the another benefit for it? Why we have to control the import? ஏன் நம்ம import பண்ணுறதுல கொஞ்சம் control பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா, industries of developing countries are not in a position to compete against the goods produced by more developed economies. So நான் இப்போ சொன்ன மாதிரி, why did I opt for the shoes of that foreign company? ஏன் இங்கே நிறைய companies இருக்குது. We have lots of good companies, leather companies we have, but why did I opt for that company? Na I like the quality of it. அந்த மாதிரி ப்ராடக்ட் எனக்கு இந்தியன் கம்பெனியில் கிடைக்கல. Okay, so one biggest defect we have is that the industries of developing countries can't compete with developed ones. So developed countryயில் பண்ண ப்ராடக்ட் மாதிரி நம்மளால் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறது கஷ்டம். So that is why, but does that mean that imports are good? சரி, அவங்கள பண்ணுற மாதிரி நம்மளால் பண்ண முடியலல்ல மேம், why can't we go for imports? No, then when will our economy grow? அப்போ எப்படி நம்ம இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் அந்தளவுக்கு புஷ் பண்ண முடியும்? Right, today we have all those technologies of other countries. நம்மளால் அந்த கண்ட்ரீஸோட ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்க்கு கம்பீட் பண்ண முடியும். because we are developing and we have brought in this modernization step by step adana varano. So we are doing that. So the domestic industries are protected, they will learn to compete in the course of time. That is important. So they have to be given a chance. Okay, they have to be given a chance. If there is no chance, when will they learn? Illaya ipo so we have 2 children. Okay, 2 children are there. One child's handwriting is really pretty, another child's handwriting is not that much good. It is legible but not neat. So நான் ஒரு கிளாஸ் டீச்சராக என்ன பண்ணுறேன், இஃப் தெர் இஸ் சம் ரைட்டிங் ஒர்க், ஒரு இன்விடேஷன் எழுதணுமோ இல்லை ஏதாவது எழுதணும்னா, ஐ கால் தட் குட் ஹேண்ட் ரைட்டிங் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் அண்ட் ஐ கிவ் தட் ஒர்க். நீயே எழுது. when will this child learn? அப்போ இன்னொரு சைல்டு எப்போ கற்றுக்குவாங்க? I should give some time. அப்போ நான் என்ன சொல்லணும், ஓகே you are doing this, let him or let her do something else. அவங்களுக்கும் நான் சான்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும் இல்லையா? then only that child also will learn to present it. அது மாதிரி தான் you need to protect the domestic countries industries from imports நிறைய பண்ணிகிட்டே இருந்தாங்கன்னா டொமஸ்டிக் கண்ட்ரியோட ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் சேல் ஆக போகிறதில்ல. அப்படிங்கிறப்போ they cannot earn and they have to shut down their industry. ஸோ ஒரு ஸ்டேஜில் நமக்கு இம்போர்ட்ஸை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணி வேறு வழி இல்லை, டொமஸ்டிக் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் தான் நம்ம வாங்கணும்னு எதுக்கு கொண்டு வந்தாங்க? then only the domestic industries will learn to compete. For that, what do they need? They need time. They can learn in course of time is what we saw. So the possibility of foreign exchange being spent on import of luxury goods if no restrictions were placed. So foreign exchange we have, if we have too many imports, then foreign exchange also might be affected. So when did this change? Do you remember? We studied this in business studies. So இது எல்லாமே 1990 வரைக்கும் இருந்த methods. So this led to a major financial crisis when 1991, that is when globalization was introduced. So in the import substitution change பண்ணது globalization, which we will be discussing it in the next chapter. Okay, as of now we will be continuing with import substitution. இது தெரிஞ்சிக்கிட்டாதான் நம்ம globalization பற்றி பார்க்க முடியும். So what are the important points about import substitution? That is, we wanted to become self-reliant. So we had preventive measures. We had domestic goods substitute the imports. Imports க்கு equal domestic goods substitute பண்ண try பண்ணோம். For what? To increase the national income and the employment opportunities. What were the preventive measures that were in practice? We had tariffs and quotas. So what do we mean by tariffs? Tariff na, it is a tax on imports levied on imports to discourage the importing idea. Quotas means it is a limit on imports. So ivlo da import panna mudiyungra or limit irukum. Then what else? We need a time இல்லையா? Why where there is a restriction on imports? நம்ம இம்போர்ட்டே பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம் அப்படின்னா டொமஸ்டிக் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸுக்கு அவங்கள ப்ரூவ் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கோ இல்லை லேர்ன் பண்ணுறதுக்கோ ஒரு பாசிபிலிட்டி இல்லாமல் போயிடும். That was the reason that imports were controlled, were restricted, so that we can go into the next step, okay, of learning to compete with the industries of the developed country. Is that what we have discussed so far? In the next session, we will be discussing about the effect of policies and on industrial development. So policy formulate pannoli and the policy 5-year plans or the effect on the industrial development, how it worked, we will be discussing in the next session. So I hope you have understood about import substitution. If at all you have any doubts, please feel free to reach me out and get your doubts clarified. Thank you, and may you all have a wonderful day today.